So, according to the book Jumping Ship by Micro Pearl, which I've been reading on and off for several months, because originally my husband was supposed to read it with me, but I wanted to read it like every night, and he was like, not tonight, not tonight, not tonight. And after a while, I was like, I'm not waiting for you anymore. I'm continuing this book. It's too good, and I don't want to keep waiting. So I fill him in and I read him sections, but I've been reading it more regularly now without him, and it's really good. I've enjoyed it very much. In one part, he talks about, okay, so they're very pro homeschool, and so they have great advice about homeschool, home life, your home being like a ship is pretty much like the analogy in the jumping ship. You want your children to feel like part of the crew, like they're valued on the ship, that they're not just like swabbies, and they want to feel like you think they're wonderful and important and necessary, you value them, all of that. And that's just, a good thing to aim for. Even though it sounds a lot like a formula when you read it, I think that it's not, but I could be mistaken. I don't think that they believe if you do this and this, then you're guaranteed this outcome, but I also haven't read much of their material enough to know that either way, it's filled really good. I like the stuff that it talks about. So one of the things I was reading recently was about boredom, and I do worry about boredom because boredom leads to, or idleness leads to sin. And so as my children get older, I think about how am I going to occupy their time? They're these boys at home with their mom all day. That's only, good for so long. When they're like 13, 14, how weird. Going to be at home all day with their mom. They need their father. And so that is our goal, and I don't know what the Lord has for us. I hope and pray that through all of the things that we are pursuing in our life, as far as work goes, that the Lord will provide a way that we can work for ourselves. We are working towards that. We have been for about 2 or 3 years, and we pray that the Lord will bring it to pass. If He's given us this desire, that He will bring it to pass. So that ultimately our children, yes, they're home with me now, and they'll always be home, but that they'll have their daddy here to teach them in those very important years how to be a man and to work, Yeah, baby, what is it?
I threw Daddy's shovel off the deck because he brought it up,
Uh-huh.
and it landed sticking up.
That is awesome. So be careful with the dogs. Bring them inside so that they're not in danger. You hear me? So, something he talks about, this is a side note, this is not what he talked about with the boredom thing, but with boys in particular, boys in particular, how they need work after they reach a certain age. What is a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old going to be doing at home all day with his mom? I mean, you can only fill up so much of his time, right? Sports doesn't take that much time. School at that point won't be taking that much time. They need work. It can be any kind of work. It doesn't have to be manual labor. That is preferable, I would say, but it doesn't have to be, And so that is one of the things that we are pursuing as a family, to work together. We already work together. It takes very little time of their life, and they're little. They play and have a great time. They're little. But as they get older, I am hoping and praying that by that point we will be well established to where they work with daddy, alongside daddy. They wake up, they do their schoolwork, and they work with daddy. That keeps their life purposeful, fulfilling, and occupied so that they're not idle and then resort to TV and video games and sin. And so that is the goal. There's no formula. There's no guarantees. That is just us trying to be wise with what we've been given. So that, now the boredom thing, I do worry about boredom. So far, they don't get bored. But I do think a lot of it has to do with the flow of our day. We don't just sit around doing nothing. You know, like I include them in my work. I include them in my life. And then in between my work, there's a lot of play, there's school, there's places to go, and the places that we go, they're not just there following me, they are included in the work. And so that's exactly what he talks about, and I was so happy reading that, because I'm very mindful of keeping them involved. They work with me. So when we get up, most of the time they start playing right away. Awesome, praise the Lord. And then it's time for breakfast, and we all are together, sit, eat, read. Then we all get dressed. Then we all come back, do school. Then they play, and they want to play. It just like naturally flows that way because they've been sitting, eating, reading, doing school for the last hour and a half. So they play, I get lunch ready, then it's lunch. Then daddy comes home, a little excitement in the middle of the afternoon, and we all have lunch together, and then we finish school. And then this is the point where there could be boredom creeping in. I have work to do, school is done, and they can play, and some days they'll play all day with absolutely no problem. But what if, you know, when they're 11 and 12, that play is only going to last so long. But even now, that play sometimes only lasts so long. Sometimes they're like, now what do we do? And so what Michael Pearl suggests, and I totally agree with, and I do think is hard for the parents sometimes, is to have like a flow of the day where there's always something next, always something. And then that creates this flow where boredom doesn't really have the opportunity to creep in because there's always something next. When we think, just go play, and that's not working, we are allowing boredom. We're allowing it to creep in and run its course. And that's what we want to avoid, is that attitude of just go figure it out, because what if they can't, and then they're bored, and then they want it, just they want to, why?
My toes hurting.
Oh, okay. Then they want to, you know, then the can we watch something starts, because there's nothing better to do. So what else is there, right? When you're bored, that's what you want, TV. And whatever else. So I just thought that was interesting. Go grab your sneakers and I'll help you put them on. We're going to head out. So I thought that was interesting, that if you just have a good flow of your day. And then something else I do is they have chores. They don't have that many chores, and they're not very time consuming or difficult, but they can do them on their own, in addition to chores that they have to help me with. Even if they can't do it on their own, I will help them. But there are a few that they do on their own, which is great for them. They feel accomplished, they feel capable, and it keeps them occupied. And that's usually what the first thing I say when I hear, like, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, we'll do your chores then. That's something to do, isn't it? And most of the time they go out there, do the chores, and they figure, oh, look how fun, and they start doing something and they play. So it's just funny how that works out. But on those times where all the work is done, all the chores are done, they have played and played and played, and now they're like, what do we do? Well, as a mother, you know, it's either my choice to be like, figure it out, or turn the TV on, or let's sit down together and play a game, or let's sit down together and read a book, or let's go do something unique and fun and cool. You know, why not? Go for a walk with the dogs. Go up and down the road on your bike. Go do something different with them, if your schedule permits. And if it doesn't, then involve them in your work. You know, help mommy do this, and involve them in your work. And so there is always something. Sometimes it's going to require a little extra from us, but hey, we're mom, right? So let's do it, let's do it. So right now we have to go back to the grocery store because we only went to one. So we have our day pretty full, which is nice. We've had a very good flow to the day today. And so one of them's outside, one of them's inside. And we're going back to the grocery store. Then we're getting our big bulk order from a truck, and we see friends there, which that's always fun. And we're coming home, eating dinner. Daddy will be home, and they'll have a blast for the rest of the evening because Daddy's here. Once Daddy's home, it's like, everything's a blast the whole time. You don't even have to try. And then I'm leaving for a Bible study tonight. So they'll have some daddy time and go to bed. And we've had some fun moments today. We've gone out, they've played a lot. We've done school. We saw, oh my goodness. In fact, I'm going to add it to the end of this video so you could see a flock of cedar waxwings coming through town. And I cannot express the joy. I was like praising the Lord because you never see those birds, and when you do, it is such a lucky moment because they only come through briefly. They eat all the berries and they're out. And we saw one last year that flew into our window, and then maybe two or three years ago on our tree in the back. And so I've been like watching all day because we saw the hugest flock. We pulled over and watched them. It was so amazing. So amazing. Oh, and watching him play with that just reminded me other things, like that I do. I don't think that the answer to boredom is to add things to your schedule. I don't think that the answer to boredom is to get out and do a bunch of things. It is not. If your children can't have fun together at home, then that should be the goal, is to teach them how to be best friends, have a blast together, love each other, play well together. That's the goal, right? Especially with the privilege of homeschooling. They're together all day, every day, and it's such a blessing. And there's nobody telling them, you're this age, so you only play with these kids, and you're this age, so you only play with these kids. No, my kids play with babies to big boys, and it is amazing to me. Amazing that they play with those little babies. They roll the ball gently to them. They push them on the swing gently. They hold their hand and guide them around. Boys, girls, babies, big boys, everybody, children, all gathered playing together because they haven't been conditioned with you're 5, so you play with 5-year-olds. Oh, you're a boy. Ew, girls. Like they don't even never have thought that or said that, So it's just a huge blessing to have them at home and watch them love home and love their environment and love here. And no one says, when are we leaving? Where are we going today? What? When we do, it's so exciting. And it's because it's not the norm. The norm is the wonderfulness of home. So we did go to Homeschool Club on Monday, and that's where they got to make those cool tornado things and learn about the weather and do several experiments. It was really fun. And we will probably have a play date this week, and then we have co-op on Friday. So I do some things, of course, for them to see friends, play dates. We have our Friday co-op, and then we go to Homeschool Club once a month and Lego Club once a month. So it's very fun. It's great. It's just it's not what I wait for. This is what's the number one main place that they should be happy and satisfied. And then those are all just blessings on top of this, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, just thought I'd share because I found it helpful and cool. And also, don't be too hard on yourself. There are days where we can't be like a perfect flow of the day where there's just always something lined up. Some days just don't work out that way because you're sick, or you feel crummy, or you feel lazy, or you feel unmotivated, or you just don't have the energy, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm not saying you better have a plan every single day and you better not stop from sunrise to sunset. I'm not saying that. So in general, the idea is very, very good, and in general, I follow it, And there are days that I don't, and that's okay. We are standing under a tree filled with cedar waxwings. This is insane! Look at their little tails. Look at the little yellow stripe at the end of their tails. You see them?
Yeah.
They are amazing. They're coming through for the spring. Beautiful birds. Look at them. They're trying to get to that puddle over there, but every time a car drives by, they fly away. They're eating the berries from the holly bush. Oh my goodness, we're in this stranger's house. Like crazy people. Oh my Lord, look at how many there are. This is amazing. They are incredible. Oh my goodness, is that water or poop? It's water. Okay. Oh my goodness, do I have poop in my hair? They're everywhere!